Time now on BBC One for Match of the Day, introduced by Jimmy Hill.
Good afternoon and welcome to Match of the Day. And first, our congratulations to Liverpool, Queen's Park Rangers, Wimbledon and Hull City, whose ambitions have already been fulfilled. At the same time as we follow the issues still open. Our first match features Wolverhampton Wanderers chasing promotion and the Championship against Crystal Palace, battling for second division survival, and it's not easy to spot whose nerves are most on edge.
Here's Butler. Oh, that's good pace. Clark, he's got all the time in the world, the biggest spot, and finds it on the terraces.
We follow that game with perhaps Swansea's last chance to hold on to that first division place they won so sensationally. They play Ipswich Town, one of the few teams who already know that they're not going anywhere this season.
Kennedy may chip it, but James is on hand to drive it if needed. James it is with the shot, and it was a good save.
That's followed by our final Goal of the Month competition, an action from the exciting championship race in Scotland.
Today's main story, does Brighton skipper Steve Foster really have to miss the FA Cup final? We examine the case for and against.
But we start the action with Wolverhampton Wanderers and Crystal Palace, and it's been an exciting season for the new Wolves, anticipating success from the earliest days. And in contrast, Crystal Palace have struggled miserably, but the opportunity is still there to end the season with a smile of relief. Your commentator is Barry Davis.
So near and yet so far from the first division gates has been the Wolves story for some time. But victory now would put them with at least 1 foot on the threshold. Melies, the club's top scorer, is fit again after knee ligament trouble, and so takes his place in a side which has been unbeaten now for 10 matches. The problem is that 8 of those matches have been drawn and points have been dropped against teams in the lower half of the table. Crystal Palace are another such team. Indeed, any 3 of 11 could be relegated to the 3rd division. And their lineup this afternoon shows the return of Jerry Murphy after suspension, but they lose Gary Locke for the same reason and Billy Gilbert because of a hamstring injury. On whom are the pressures greater? On Alan Mullery, the manager of Crystal Palace, or on his opposite number, Graham Hawkins of Wolves? Well, we surely can't expect a repeat of the match at Selhurst Park in November, which was eventually won 4-3 by Wolves after Palace had scored twice in the first 7 minutes. That's a bit hasty by Mick Matthews. Jerry Murphy. Houghton. 4 forward for Palace. The referee this afternoon is Mr. Ray Chadwick of Darwin. Well, not the biggest crowd that one has seen at Molineux, but certainly the atmosphere is very good. The match so important to both sides. This is Eves. Pender. Gray. And they're all looking a bit. And was Jim Cannon who got it away from Eaves. The ball didn't run too kindly for Eaves. The shot by Matthews, the deflection for the corner. Final effort from Matthews, but the Palace defence twisted and turned then, and it was Cannon who got in the important first clearance. Balls with three players right up on the line. Clark, Dodd and Eaves. And Fry in some trouble, but Pender couldn't keep the ball down. Or place it accurately. Here's Hibbett. Matthews. Well taken, is that a goal? The referee's given it as a foul, which is probably right, but there was a moment then when both keeper and ball seemed to me to go over the line. Clark. Hibbett. All a bit bunched, there's no real width here. Now Humphrey. Missed by Hinshelwood, but not by Cannon. Push and run. Oh, well done. And Palmer finds the cross. Eaves back. And over the top by Clark. But what a good piece of play by the captain. Kept his eye on the ball, pushed it past his man, found the cross deep to the back post from where it was headed across. And back to Clark for the header over the top. Well out by Nebbeling. And here's Clark. When they won't go for you, they won't go for you. It's a lovely header by Kenny Hibbett, just at the right pace. But Wayne Clark, who hasn't scored for 7 games before today, just saw the ball go a ball's width wide of the far post. Abbott. Brooks. Brown. Bit of pushing by Abbott. And the slight reaction from Pender. Nonchalant chip. And almost a very good first time ball cut out by Matthews. Eaves. Nebbeling with him. Did a good job. It runs for Murphy, who looks up and sees Giles. He's got 4 players to the left of him. Oh, Palmer! What an extraordinary clearance. And not too much doubt what John Barrage thought about that, but what Palmer was trying to do, heaven only knows. The inquiry seemed reasonable enough. Holding, but the referee played the advantage. Eaves, and he saw Matthews, but he didn't see Murphy. Hilaire, it's out. Oh, nice claim. Good spin too. And Brooks finding Mabbott well. He's got to go all alone and couldn't find a shot. At least not one worthy of the name. end of a half which really was something of a contradiction. A half full of attacking football, but which had very few decent shots on goal and no saves to remember. The result of that, 0-0. There's a nice family atmosphere these days at Molineux. It's interesting just to note how many youngsters there are in the crowd. That's a father and son for sure. It's the left foot of one of the successors of the first half that gets the second underway, Kevin Mabbott. And the Wolves manager Graham Hawkins has come down on the bench for the second half. Hibbett, Matthews, Palmer could have a crack this time. Palmer once more, 4 in the middle. Eves, oh that's easy. Matthews committing himself, and here's Hilaire. Murphy to the left. Tried to play it one way while moving the other, Hilaire, and it didn't work. Here's Matthews. Not quite with the smoothness of Hilaire, but here's Humphrey. And back we go the other way. Houghton. He couldn't make the pass either. Hilaire. There's little tension between the two 18-yard lines, but so much of it in the 18-yard areas. Now Eves wanted 2 touches, and goal! And the goal comes from an error. Sad to say for Palace, but David Fry had the ball with some comfort from Mel Eves and allowed it to slip away, and Andy Gray ends his own personal drought, and maybe in terms of the home victory, that of the team. So Palace really given the goal away, and what can a football manager do to guard against such errors? Just watched it. Andy Gray's 8th goal of the season. Good ball from Matthews. Gray gave it rather too much air. He didn't have enough time to wait for it to come down. Here's Hilaire. Mabbott going away from him. Brooks hanging back. Brown, Mabbott. Brilliant clearance off the line by Pender. Really made an excellent clearance, Pender, and seemed to be complaining at the goalkeeper. But it was 2 against 1 then for a moment for Palace, with Annie Brown and then Kevin Mabbott. The goalkeeper beaten, John Pender got back. Cannon just inside the 18-yard area. It's a poor corner. Hibbett invited the challenge and then took the ball away. Clark. Oh, was a bit slow to go forward, but here's Mellies with a chance to wrap it up, but his touch let him down. Fry was quick, and I think has got a free kick because Eves did stretch a bit, but his touch on the ball destroyed him then. Clark. Hibbett. Chased by Giles. Gray. Corner. Hibbett appealing for something rather more. Eves takes his position. Wayne Clark is already there. Gray on the near post, and here's Alan Dodd arriving, but staying out of the 6-yard area. Nebeling's header. Mabbott is on his own, but has got support arriving behind him. He's held the ball again well. Alistair Brown. Murphy. Go wide, I think was the shout from the bench. Hinshelwood pulls it back, but straight into the waiting hands of Burridge. Alan Dodd. Minutes left. And the match by no means won. Palace looking the better of the two sides. Here's Humphrey. Small's passing has gone to pot. Brown. Giles. It's good running by Ali Brown again. Mabbott! Blocked by Humphrey. Hinshelwood! Ali Brown's expression seeming to sum up how Palace must be feeling. As Kevin Mabbott denied when it seemed that the goal was yawning in front of him by the challenge of John Humphrey. And Graham Hawkins preparing to introduce Paul Butler into the fray. Paul Butler, who came on as a substitute in the opening match of the season. He replaces Mick Matthews now, but in that opening match against Blackburn, he turned the game Wolves' way with a lovely cross that produced a goal. So Palace will now find that they are confronted by an out-and-out left winger. Here's Butler. Oh, that's good pace. Clark, he's got all the time in the world, the biggest spot, and finds it on the terraces. What tension would do to shooting ability. That's an effective way of getting attention. Can't all do that. Brooks. Met by Butler. Only to Giles. Here's Hilaire. Mabbott. And I think that's the last chance gone. He's deserved better fortune, Kevin Mabbott. He really has played well. Truth, a probably more naturally gifted player than his brother. Here's Butler. Clark just inside. miscue by Houghton. Hibbett. Got his angle right. Here's Clark. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And I suspect I'm not alone in that feeling. Be shared by managers and spectators alike. Hinshelwood with the challenge. Cartwright puts it back. Bender lost. Hilaire. Up comes Murphy. Bender just gets there in time. The tension is quite painful. Giles, Hilaire banged away by Hibbett. Gets the biggest applause of the afternoon. Free kick, it's not the final whistle. Well, does he still have belief, Alan Mallory? In the game for sure. But whether in this one anymore, I'm not sure. Out by Hibbett. Eves to chase. Hinshelwood across. Brooks is there as well. It's a Wolves throw. Gray. Still Mr. Chadwick once more. John Humphrey. Eves, that's a good turn. Clark. Fine save. Really good save. Which will perhaps, having denied Clark, make David Fry feel a little bit better. Going up is the cry of the crowd. Another check of the watch. And this time it is the final whistle. Alan Mallory coming to shake hands with Graham Hawkins, whose Wolves team have got home with panting breath by the only goal of the match, scored by Andy Gray after the man alongside him, Mel Eves, has seen his shot saved by David Fry, who then inexplicably lost control of the ball and presented Wolves with the precious 3 points. So the final score, Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Gentlemen, apart from all the near things, that match left me with the feeling, who on earth would want to be a football manager? Graham?
Well, I think the game was very similar probably to one at Crystal Palace, and it could have been the result in reverse quite easily. I think it was from end to end. I wasn't too happy with the way we left it open, and I think Alan did it purposely, to be honest. He left 4 upfield, which is very adventurous, and it nearly proved costly in our point of view. I thought they were very unlucky to get. I'm pleased, by the way. I thought they were very unlucky to get the result that they got. But all credit to them, they kept going and going. And I was kept looking at my watch, and I thought the referee's watch had stopped because it was at 10. So even in the closing few minutes, I think they could have had 2 and we could have had 2. It was that type of game.
But what was it like for you, Alan? I mean, I'll come back to this point about being a football manager. You've known pressures from going up as well as the pressures you're on now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had them before. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's a much better position in Graham's position. You know, they say you've got pressures at the top. Don't believe it. Let Bob Paisley come down to my place and have the pressures I have. You know, don't worry about that. But it's tense. I was pleased with the way the lads played today. I think if we play like that, you know, the last 4 or 5 games of the season, I think we'll get out of the trouble we're in. Because I'm a believer in attacking football. We'll give goals away, but then again we'll make the game interesting, and I think we'll stay there.
But there's no way that you as a manager can legislate for the sort of goal that eventually decided the match.
Oh no, the boy cut inside, he struck it well, and David made a good save, David Fry, and Andy Gray was there. That cost 1 point something million about 3 years ago.
That's right.
That's what he's there for. He's got them promotion on that goal today.
Now Eves wanted 2 touches. And goal!
Is it still if, Graham?
It's still if, yes. If we win the championship now, I'll put a little bit of pressure on QPR against Fulham that we're close on their heels, and if they lose against Fulham, they've got to play us next week, and we'll beat them at QPR.
A little cruel, that result, although, as Alan Mullery says, it's better at the top. In that game, Wolves players looked far more in need of psychiatric treatment than those from Palace. 8 months at the head of the pack has taken its toll, but the nerves should evaporate now as they go for the championship medals. Our congratulations to them, and hard luck, Palace. You deserved a point at least. We're now to Swansea City, and it seems particularly sad that their supporters have lost some enthusiasm for a club which has given them 4 outstanding seasons in a row. In their first poor one for some time, they find themselves clinging to a slender First Division thread against Ipswich Town, who've also had a season which, by their previous consistently high standards, has been rather quiet. Your commentator is Alan Parry.
It's 10 years to the day since Robbie James made his debut for Swansea, the hometown club. He's played for in all 4 divisions of the Football League. Today, James looks for his 100th league goal to help Swansea win a match they cannot afford to lose. He captains a team containing 7 players under the age of 21, which is bottom of the table with only 4 games to play. Injuries to key players have cost Swansea dearly this season, and only 3 of this side played in the corresponding game last season. Ipswich too are building a new team around young players, with the departure of Muren, Tyson, Mills and Brazil, and with injuries to Osman and Gates, this is one of the youngest sides Ipswich have fielded in the First Division. But a landmark today for one of the more experienced men. It's goalkeeper Paul Cooper's 300th league game for Ipswich. John Toshak back in his normal seat on the touchline, having been banished to the stands for 3 months this season for indiscretions towards referees. Today's referee is Vic Callow of Solihull in the Midlands. So Ipswich kick off their 11th in the table and still hoping to win a place in Europe. But for Swansea, all in white, this is the beginning of a long and critical weekend. Ipswich today and Aston Villa, the visitors to the Vetchfield on Monday. And those are 2 games which could well decide their First Division future. A warm and sunny day. The pitch has been watered. And it's an early free kick to the home side, driven over the Ipswich defensive wall, but an easy one really for Trevor Putney to turn back. Came off Davray. Lewis brings it clear. Steggles for Ipswich. Butcher. Davray getting up well, O'Callaghan controlling it. Lewis following him over and fouling him as well. It will be an Ipswich free kick. Butcher, as usual, is the Ipswich defender who comes forward. Callaghan drives it over, and there was confusion. It comes to Walk. The shot charged away. Swansea sleeping a little bit. Butcher heads it back in again, and Walk has another shot. And the deflection to Mariner. Turned in towards Davray. Lewis got it away. All kinds going on in that Swansea penalty area. Walk trying to get on the end of it for a 3rd time. Richards plays it straight against Mariner, and they're certainly making life difficult for themselves, but young Gary Richards shows a lovely piece of skill and composure. My goodness, there was confusion then among the Swansea ranks. Loveridge. Kennedy forward. Steggles with the header. This is Lewis. Now Rajkovic. Plays it into Kennedy, chested down for Robbie James. Richards. And the shot reaches Loveridge, but again offside. Bob Latchford, the player who strayed too far forward. Davray getting up well, a good flick for Mariner. Down the line for Putney. A good-looking cross to Gernon, nearly on the end of it. O'Callaghan is. Looks good for Mariner. He climbed well, and the header, much to the dismay of the Swansea players and fans, was alleged to have gone off the Swansea defender. I think it was Rajkovic, corner. First corner kick of the game then. O'Callaghan will take it. And there's plenty of aerial targets for him. Butcher, Davray, Mariner and Gernon, all tall players for Ipswich here. It was, oddly enough, a Swansea man, Jeremy Charles, who got higher than any of them. Callaghan again. Charles again, eating it very firmly. So we can try yet again, and that was a good reverse ball down the line to Burley. Davray has drifted away into good space, and he saw him too, but Walk got the header in instead. O'Callaghan. Looks difficult for a moment, and Kennedy's diving header was just enough to take it away from Mitch Davray. And really, in the initial attack, I'm sure that Davray was the intended target of O'Callaghan. And if the man in front of him hadn't have made the first move, then Davray was surely beautifully placed. But a corner it is. 15 minutes gone. McCall for Ipswich. Looked good, Walk getting up high. And again, it went off the Swansea man. So sustained pressure this by Ipswich Town. Always so dangerous, really, from corners, Ipswich. Quite apart from all the tall men, they can get forward into the box. There's always the possibility of John Walk arriving late, as he's done so often down the years, to score. Corner looks good again, and it came off Butcher, and Walk was shaping for the shot. Kennedy got it away. And Swansea survived, but it's only a temporary reprieve. It's an Ipswich throw. Gernon. McCall. Davray did well. McCall takes over. Still Davray. He battled well then, but so did Swansea. Fine break this is by Gale. McCall chasing him all the way, but he gets between both players. How well he did, and was sandwiched in the end by McCall and Butcher. What a fine run by 19-year-old Gale. So Darren Gale's persistence has earned Swansea this free kick. A Rustic chip, and it was not terribly well executed, really. Rather a waste of what looked a promising opening. And obviously something has gone wrong here for Ipswich, because they have surprisingly made a substitution. Kevin Steggles has gone off with an injury, and Robin Turner, the substitute, is on. And that with less than 25 minutes gone, but Swansea looking dangerous. Gernon got it clear. The shot came in from Jeremy Charles, but really was all wrong. Well, I must admit, see what the nature of that injury was. It was a bit of a mystery to everyone. It was quickly spotted, though, by the Ipswich bench. So Gurnham will have to adjust into a defensive role, but it's one he's well used to. Davray missing it. Callaghan's flick on. Davray knocked aside, and that will be a free kick. Quickly taken on a call. A good looking cross in towards Davray, but headed away by Charles. Mariner, Putney. Never overhit that. Burley keeps it in play. And looks for Mariner, good looking ball. And the header took it away from the goalkeeper, and Mariner again. And the whistle has gone as Rajkovic challenged for Mariner. But the ball into the box was flicked on by Mariner as the goalkeeper came out to meet him. It looked as though Mariner might get it in. At the second opportunity, Rajkovic tackled him, and in any case the referee gave a free kick. Lewis. Latchford. Rajkovic has spotted Kennedy and found him well. Was he pushed? The referee says yes. So a position of some danger perhaps for Ipswich, because certainly I've seen Robbie James have a crack from distances further out than this. James it is with the shot, and it was a good save. Cooper doing well, Kennedy and Ludbridge teeing it up, Robbie James cracking it right-footed along the ground, a good save by Cooper. Mariner doing well here, and the goalkeeper made a good save, and as he did so, Mariner's foot was raised unnecessarily high, which is why Mr. Callow will at least lecture him. And he gets away with just a warning. Lewis. Rajkovic. On towards Kennedy, and that's the end of the first half. John Toshak will be pleased with the effort from his young side, and they've certainly given Ipswich one or two anxious moments, but they've had anxious moments themselves, showing a slight lack of confidence, but nonetheless giving some hope that they can improve on the half-time scoreline of Swansea City 0, Ipswich Town 0. These Swansea supporters have seen their club rise from the 4th division to the 1st in only 4 seasons. Today they're being urged to buy cup price season tickets for next season, but what they're all wondering is, will it be 1st division football they're watching? Kevin Steggall's already changed as he comes out to watch the second half. He has a hamstring injury, and that's what caused his early departure from the game. Swansea start the second half then, attacking the goal to our left. No fewer than 8 of their team, by the way, were on international duty with Wales this week at full or under 21 level. And it's the loss of players like that manager John Toshak feels has caused so many problems to them this season. John Toshak, a former Welsh international himself, and a great patriot to his country, but it has robbed him of players at a vital time. Burley under pressure. Turner finds Butcher. Callaghan tried to flick it through. Rajkovic intercepted, and then for a moment there was problems as Charles stood on the ball. O'Callaghan. Charles following him. Oh, and he's beaten him. And looks dangerous, and it's knocked in with some style by Paul Mariner. And O'Callaghan gets congratulations too, because he did so well. He beat Jeremy Charles beautifully, and that hard, low cross was so inviting for captain Paul Mariner to knock in his 12th goal of the season. So O'Callaghan doing what wingers used to do in the days when we all remember most sides had them, going to the byline, beating the fullback and getting in the cross, which has produced the Swansea City 0, Ipswich Town 1 scoreline. Minutes gone then in the second half, and Swansea, having looked good in the opening stages of this second half, find themselves a goal down. But their fans still singing them on. What a crucial goal that could be. In the meantime, Ipswich have a player lying injured, so I think the referee, as the ball has gone out of play anyway, will call a stoppage here. Trevor Putney feeling some pain. So Putney helped off, and Ipswich having already made their substitution, and Swansea are about to make their substitution. The man who will come off is number 7, as you can see, Jimmy Loveridge, to be replaced by 18 years old Colin Pascoe. Only a couple of appearances in the first team behind him. Came on as a sub last week at Luton, and has also played at Anfield this season. Played back in by Marustic. And there was a push then by Richards, so it'll be a free kick to Ipswich. Trevor Putney with an ominous-looking strapping round his left ankle returns to the action. Davray. Walk dispossessed by James. Pascoe to his left. And in the end, James lost control and possession. For what the crowd felt was a rather negative piece of play by John Wall. Nothing negative about him, though. He's top scorer for Ipswich this season with 21 goals. Kennedy. Butcher. Did well then, Butcher, and found O'Callaghan. Now to his left is Davray. But he's going all the way on his own. Can he finish? Forced wide by the defenders, who did a good job, both of them. Lewis comes away with the ball and wins it a second time, and Pascoe finds Latchford superbly, and Lewis is still going forward. Pascoe in space, good effort. Richards back in, Walk clear. Richards. Looks good. Oh, just cleared by McCall. And Putney up to the halfway line. Davray to O'Callaghan, who's offside. Lewis looking so good today, and in that earlier attack. Walk on. Well then, Charles also finds Richards on the left. We're into the final quarter of an hour. Time running out for Swansea. Kennedy. This is Charles. Richards. There's so many white shirts in the box here. If he gets a good-looking cross, which he does, and headed clear by Mariner, and Burley went the right way in the end from a difficult position and was forced to concede the corner. And Swansea, I would think, will pile most of their men forward now. Cooper getting up, and it's bundled in, yes, but yes, the referee looked for a moment towards the linesman, and the goal will stand. It was a real mess, but Rajkovic was the bravest as he went into that crowd of players to poke it over the line. The Ipswich players looked at the referee, he glanced at the linesman, and the goal stands, and what a vital one it could be. 76 minutes gone then. Rajkovic, the Yugoslav, makes it Swansea 1, Ipswich Town 1, and gives Swansea a moment of hope. Davray. Mariner. Pascoe. Swansea fans really behind their players now. But Butcher did the right thing. Well, I thought he did. Well, we should certainly not speak to referees like that, but I have some sympathy. I thought that was an absolutely fair and a good challenge by Butcher. But a free kick is the outcome. Offside. It won't count because the flag was up even before Matchford controlled the ball. And that, in fact, is the final whistle, greeted with almost pessimistic silence. And John Toshak knows that really they needed to win this today. That surely will be the end for Swansea. Can they possibly survive in the First Division now? There's promise for the future in their younger players, but this surely a result that will condemn them to Division 2 unless things surprisingly go well for them in other quarters. Swansea City 1, Ipswich Town 1, here at the Vetchfield.
Well, sad for Swansea, they need to win all 3 remaining matches to survive. But hopefully there are better things waiting for them round the corner. A refereeing point from that game made not to create an argument about one decision or to attack a referee, but because I think it represents a trend. When Butcher tackled young Pascoe, he went to extraordinary lengths to point out to the referee that he was going for the ball. You could complain that there was too much dissent, but just let's look at it again now. Pascoe, promising young player, very well balanced, clever little dribbler, streaks away here, but Ipswich really are not in a panic because Walk's at the top of the picture alongside him, and Butcher times his tackle with the outside of his foot perfectly, wins the ball on the floor, knows he's got it. And from that point on, when a foul's given against him, he arguably should not show dissent like that, but you can understand perhaps some indignation. And while I'm the last one to recommend any kind of leniency for cynical or brutal fouls, I do think all referees should do well to take a hint from the police and not charge and convict, incidentally, unless they're absolutely certain an offence has taken place. There are enough of those sort to keep them busy, so unless they are certain, my advice would be to think twice, well, once first, twice second, and then only blow the whistle if it's absolutely necessary. It'll do no harm for the entertainment value of the game either. Well, as a bonus now, further goals from Wales. This season, Newport have been aiming to catch up with the Swansea Joneses and are on the threshold of the Second Division. Yesterday they played Wrexham. Your commentator is Idwal Roebling.
Delman leaning on Keith Oakes. Bailey, and it's still loose. A chance for Tynan, and he makes absolutely sure. Tommy Tynan was a bit too ambitious because Nigel Vaughan was available, but still County in possession. Aldridge, the Ralph Jacquet, that's a fine shot. What a goal that was! Tynan's second goal of the match. It was a beauty. Bailey, Tynan flicking a beautiful pass in to Aldridge, getting it back. Nigel Vaughan. Maybe casual, oh, but beautifully done. What a beautiful build-up. Great flick in from Tynan to Lowndes. Got to go all the way. There's a chance for his second goal. Oh. It's an obvious one, surely. So Niedzwiecki to face the penalty kick from Tynan. And this for his hat-trick. Oh. It's saved, but the referee was at this moment booking any Niedzwiecki. In fact, he sent him off. Well, that's very, very sad. The lad reacting because he'd saved the penalty. He'd obviously moved. And the referee had blown for the kick to be taken again. I'd like to guess what he said to the goalkeeper, to the referee rather. But Ian Arkwright it is who has to face Tynan. As a disappointed, perhaps furious Eddie Niedzwiecki runs off. No doubts this time.
An unhappy ending, but Newport still in with a great chance of promotion. Well, with the FA Cup final just 3 weeks away, we examine the worrying situation facing Brighton captain Steve Foster. Yesterday he was booked for dissent during Brighton's 1-0 defeat at Notts County. It took him to 31 disciplinary points, and that means an automatic 2-game suspension, which includes the cup final against Manchester United on May the 21st. When I spoke to Steve this morning, he was quite naturally upset that after playing such a vital role in Brighton's cup run and their fight to avoid relegation, he was now going to miss out on the biggest day of his career. He said, "I have only been booked for dissent once in my career, have only had to serve a suspension once before, and in 7 or 8 years as a professional have never been sent off. It's heartbreaking." Well, already leniency is being requested from several quarters, but you may recall Glenn Roeder missing last season's cup final replay because of suspension, and the fact that Rangers' Terry Fenwick and 3 years ago West Ham's Billy Bonds both played in cup finals thanks to the help of FA commissions counts for naught. Since then, the FA, backed by the Football League and the PFA, have done away with appeals. FA Chairman Bert Millerchip summed up the Foster situation like this: "It's a great pity and I have every sympathy, but you can't bend rules for one individual. Foster has no chance whatever. It's automatic punishment." Well, when I passed on that statement to Brighton Chairman Mike Bamber, he still refused to give up the fight for a player he described as the biggest battler in the game, a superb character. And both Mr. Bamber and Steve Foster will be sending personal letters to the FA in the next few days. As for manager Jimmy Melia, he was clearly upset that Foster had been booked at all, especially after his own conversation with referee Norman Wilson just before the game at Notts County.
Yes, I said to him, Bob, that if there's any problems at all, just have a quick word with them. I said in a bit stronger words than them, and he said, "Don't worry about it, Jimmy." He said, "If I have any problems at all," he said, "I will just let them know to keep quiet and just get on with the game, or if they're making any bad tackles or anything like that, I'll just have a quick word with them."
Now, the official FA line, Jim, is real sympathy, but nothing can be done. Rules are rules. But you feel strongly that leniency should be applied not just for Steve's benefit, but for the good of football.
Well, I think everybody in the football world would love to see Steve play, and I think that we've got to have a little bit of heart and a little bit of leniency towards this. I mean, we're all looking for good things in the game. Is an opportunity for somebody in the FA. I know rules are rules, but there's no reason why we can't have a go and try and do something that could change it. And I'm sure that Manchester United wouldn't really be offended either.
In your heart of hearts, Jimmy, do you think that there will be a sympathetic viewing?
Well, I'm sure that the people over the FA have got heart, and it's up to them to come up with some suggestions that's going to help Steve to play in this match.
At this moment, that's unlikely, because FA Secretary Ted Croker, confirming Bert Millerchip's opinion, told me, "My heart bleeds for Steve, but I can't see a way round it." Well, it's sad, and personally, I hope a way can be found. The chances of a merger between Oxford United and Reading decreased dramatically today on the eve of the derby match between the two third division clubs, because it has been announced that Oxford City Council have found a site for a new £6 million stadium for the club and want them to move to it rather than amalgamating with Reading and playing at Didcot. Oxford chairman Robert Maxwell's response: so long as it's not just an election promise, I think it's something we must consider. Now that three-cornered fight between Dundee United, Aberdeen and Celtic for the Scottish Premier Division title. All were in good form yesterday. While United were beating Morton 4-0 and Celtic were winning 5-0 against Kilmarnock, Aberdeen faced a difficult match at Dundee. Your commentator Archie McPherson.
John McMaster is doing a bit of pointing, but it seems to me that Strachan might go for it. He does, curls it, and that's it. Hewitt, I think, got the touch. McMaster. Yes, Hewitt in the run. Great running by Hewitt. It's 1 against 1. He's at a difficult angle, but there is Strachan. Yes! A quite excellent goal.
Well, now it's time for the April Goal of the Month competition, in which there are 7 fine goals to choose from. I'll remind you how to enter in a moment, but first, a look at the goals, starting with goal A, scored by Paul Canaville for Chelsea against Fulham, and could be a goal that keeps his team in Division 2.
Bumstead to take the corner. And Troy got up. Canaville. Well taken.
Goal B, scored by Kevin Locke for Fulham in the same game, and could be a goal that brings First Division football back to Craven Cottage.
Locke curled it.
Goal C, scored by Dave Bennett for Luton at Norwich City, just one contribution in an incredible month for them.
Shannon. Nicely chipped up for Bennett. Oh, yes!
Goal D, scored by Brian Robson in the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal, one of the goals that took Manchester United to Wembley.
Orbiston making a run forward down the left. Here comes Brian Robson. He's in with a chance. Yes!
Goal E, scored by Norman Whiteside in the same match, the winning goal that ended Arsenal's cup hopes.
Orbiston. Oh, Grimes is onside, and so is Whiteside here. Oh, I say! It's amazing!
Goal F, scored by Laurie Cunningham for Manchester United against Watford in the league, showing his joy at being back home again.
McQueen up with the keeper.